When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Tonight, the Door Cup Series stares down one of the toughest tests on the schedule, the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware, where concrete, corners, and chaos await. It's Dover Motor Speedway, where 1 mile of high-banked concrete delivers high-speed drama lap after lap. With playoff hopes on the line, bragging rights, and momentum, the margin for error is razor thin. Mistakes are punished, and dominance must be earned. Who will tame Miles the Monster tonight? We'll find out in just a moment. We're glad you could join us here on Maconi Entertainment. Marty Sakala with you, alongside Jeremy Briggs, Christian Hill producing in Mission Control, using cameras by Whiplash SimCams. Jeremy, Dover nicknamed the Monster Mile for a bunch of exact reasons, and tonight this track could bite very, very hard.
An absolutely monster-sized field here tonight with Door Racing League. This is going to be absolutely awesome. This track, one little mistake here on this 1 mile, 1.6 kilometer length concrete monster is going to be very crucial. Open in 1969. Pit road speed is a very slow 35 miles an hour. Got to be extremely careful if we have some green flag stops at all tonight. 9 degrees baking on the front stretch, 24 degrees through the turns, going to be an absolute blast. Dover has that changing of the line throughout the run. Kind of almost feels like a dirt track to me there, Marty.
It could perhaps. You've got a lot of restart chaos, green flag pit cycles for the ever-changing long-run setups to test every element of a driver's skill set. You see the schedule there is we're not too far away from the playoffs kicking off. This follows the real-life NASCAR Cup Series schedule, as we've got 6 races left here in the regular season. The playoffs kick off on August 31st at Darlington Raceway and goes throughout round by round. The top 16 in points by the end of Daytona in August will make it into the field. There you see the playoff picture at the moment, where Bradley Knopfsnyder, currently the final guy in, Josh Sanchez first from below the cut line at 31 points down. Drivers looking for excellent nights here tonight. Points, not just from race points, but also stage points, to see if they can move themselves up and get some insurance playoff spots, or maybe get their way in. A wreck, you could find yourself back below the cut line once again. Set to go racing here at the Monster Mile. Let's meet the field and get you your starting lineup. Roland Collette on pole position. His time, 22.842. Next to him, the man with 10 wins this season, including last week at Sonoma. It's Trevor Baxter in car number 12. Row 2, it's Billy Brickley in the 69. To his outside, Danny Carpenter in car 28. Row number 3, you've got the 15 of Alan Duggar. Next to him, it's the 26 of Stephen Bird. And in row 4, William Lark driving car number 10, and James Nesta in the 29. Rounding out the top 10 this evening, Josh Sanchez in car 22, and Randy Belk in the 33. Jeremy?
Just outside the top 10 there, got the 115 of Paul Danino. 12th starting spot, I got Brian Wasserman. 13th starting spot, got the number 5 of Daniel Best. 14th starting position, the number 8 of Gabriel Burke. 15th starting position, the number 6 of Joshua Switzer. 16th starting spot, the number 16 of Nate Pollard. 17th starting spot, got the 00 of Michael Reeves. 18th starting spot, got the 17 of Thomas Freeman. 19th starting spot, got the 41 of Michael Kurgelak. And the 20th starting spot, got the number 87 of Bradley Knopfsnyder.
Number 11.
Oh.
You're good. Row 11, Thomas Heglin in the 99, last to qualify. Then it's Mike Wombold in the 81, starting in 22nd. Row 12, Chris Chavez Asari, 23rd. Corey Atkins rolls from 24th. Row 13, William Hewitt in the 11, Miguel Alvarez in the number 19. And in row number 14, Brian Burchett, Josh Hyatt, the 3 and the 2 car respectively. Final row, Tommy Osborne in the 44, and Ronald Judd in car number 64. So 30 drivers, actually check that, 29 drivers will take the green flag. I believe Michael Wombold is one of those race controls that we normally see in the field here. Drivers roll off here, 260 laps the distance around the Monster Mile. 3 stages. The stages will end at lap 60 and 130. 75 to 80 laps you can go on fuel with 75% fuel. A typical fuel window is 100 laps around Dover. Drivers with 5 sets of tires, and if we need to go overtime, there's only 1 attempt at a green-white checkered. Field making their way here through turns number 3 and 4. We've got a monster-sized field this evening. 29 strong in the door-to-door Cup Series are set to take the green. iRacing pace car pulls in. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? They are set to go door-to-door throughout the field. Off the corner, it is showtime at the Monster Mile. Caution already, the 69 goes around. Billy Brickley collected, everybody stacks up. The 16, Nate Pollard also with a sideways jam up. And the first yellow flies at probably 1/100th of a mile in.
We will have to get a look at this and see what happened. Maybe somebody either missed a shift or maybe put a little bit too much gas into it right now. Take a look at that. I believe the 16 just had a solo spin, just trying to slow up. Might be no damage there for that number 16 machine.
Yeah, so watching the replay here, and it looks like just too much revs that the 69 of Billy Brickley had. When he started, in fact, actually started on first gear. That's normally a gear that you don't normally start in with the Cup Series cars. The back end comes out from underneath them. And what a tough break for Stephen Bird with absolutely nowhere to go.
I can see right there, here comes that 16 of Nate Pollard. Just kind of solo spinning out the front of the nose of somebody. Looks like no harm, no foul right there.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any contact from Thomas Freeman in the 17 either, but yeah, tough situation there. Now watch the 16 from the aerial shot. I think he just jammed on the brakes with the left foot. Nope, the 17 did eat him there in the back. Not just once, but twice. So
a little bit of a
double trouble there.
Yeah, a lot going on. You know, it happens. You're not expecting it to happen right here on that the first start of the race, and everybody's just trying to get the speed and get going, and all of a sudden everybody's stopping in front of you. And when we've got almost 30 cars out here on the field, when you're farther in the back, it really sneaks up on you quick here. So, caution right at the beginning.
Drivers reminded as well to give and take here tonight as this race goes on here this evening. Since we have some time here before we go to the green flag, get back to the green flag here, Jeremy, what are your keys to victory tonight?
Racing the track, not racing the other drivers. It is key to keep yourself in the clean air tonight, but keeping yourself under control and mentally okay with, 260 laps is a long ways to go, and you got to be smooth each and every lap, trying to make any mistakes. One of the tricky spots, I believe, in my personal opinion, is into turn 3. There's kind of a little bit of a Humpty Dump right there, and you can find yourself in trouble entering turn 3 there, so these drivers have to be careful there tonight. But apparently the biggest trouble there right now is going to be the start of the race.
I look at a couple of keys here throughout this race. Number 1, mastering tire and grip management. The high concrete banking at Dover demands smooth tire handling. Drivers must manage their wear, conserve their grip at the same time. Historically, those who preserve their tires in the final stage will surge late in the race. Number 2, perfect pit strategy and crew execution. Efficient, mistake-free pit stops are vital. You cannot be overshooting your box. It's a make or break factor when it comes to track position. Qualifying and clean air. Starting near the front grants cleaner air and better handling on the tight corners. Past winners like Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott often begin the weekends up front. Stage points early could lead to greater late race freedom. Scoring heavily in the early stages lets contenders make aggressive tire or fuel gambles later without jeopardizing their playoff positioning. Finally, adjustments throughout the race. The track changes quickly because of the tire buildup and the heat. Crews must dial in handling consistency. The veteran drivers adapted adjusting, becoming strong in long green flag runs. So we'll just have to see if that is a factor here tonight. But we're Set to go back to the green flag here. No changes on the front row. Collette and Trevor Baxter. We saw some drivers jump up 9 spots after that first caution. Corey Atkins, the highest, up to 15th, and Miguel Alvarez restarts in 17th. Collette on the inside. He's got the right to fire first as we come back to the green flag.
Nice, clean start there for the field. Diving into turn 1 finally, just getting themselves up through the gears. Roland Collette leads the way with Trevor Baxter right there with Alan Duggar on his inside going down the backstretch.
Duggar trying to grab second from Baxter as they stay side by side. Keep in mind the banking here at Dover. Very good on corner exit. We can get a huge boost, just like what we saw with Denny Hamlin, how he took the win over Chase Briscoe in overtime in the Cup race earlier today. But the top 3 all under a blanket here. Collette just focused on the clean air. You see some drivers scrape to the wall. That's something key here at Dover as well, Jeremy. That safer barrier, especially off of turn 2, can really bite you at any point in time when you're trying to get back on the gas and corner exit.
And it's extremely important to keep your nose and clean air when you're coming off of exits so you don't push tight and into that safer barrier that sticks out just that little bit. You saw right there on our one cam that there was 2 number 12s right now running on board with those number 12s on the side of the car. Alan Duggar, he's actually scored as number 15 on time and scoring. In front of him is Trevor Baxter, actually scored as number 12. Got 2 number 12s here battling it here really tight. Leader not getting too far away. 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars, just kind of sticking right here, not getting too broken away.
Yeah, field pretty much all single file out. Duggar tucked back in line there right in front. That was Sanchez and Carpenter that you were seeing on your screens in the battle for the 4th position. Historically with the next gen, see, oh, one car really sideways. That's the 10 of William Lark. Luckily keeps the car straight. Hit the inside retaining wall. We stay clean and green. Lark started 7th in this race, but now we'll drop down a lot of spots. Very easy on cold tires here, Jimmy, to get back on the gas and again lose the back end.
Yes, that was a very fortunate break there for that large machine. As we look back up front though, we are side by side for the lead. Roland Collette, Trevor Baxter. Baxter, who's got 10 wins on the season, actually starting in 2nd place. Oh, scrapes the wall right there, but pushing hard to get around that Collette machine here early on.
Yeah, nice crossover here off of Collette. Looked high, didn't like what he saw. Now takes a peek downstairs to try and grab the lead. Collette's square line as he kisses the wall once more. Great battles all throughout the racetrack. A battle for the race lead. Good battle for 4th between Sanchez and Carpenter. James Nesta, Corey Atkins battling for 8th. I wish we had 3 computers going on so we can show you everything at the same time. But Trevor Baxter, meanwhile, has taken the race lead away. Alan Duggar moves up to 2nd. Trying to get the 9 cleared off, and turn 4 will be tight. He's got the space. Duggar moves up to 2nd. Behind them, it's still Sanchez and Carpenter in a drag race into turn 1.
Baxter having some slight internet difficulties right now. Kind of disappeared for us, but the battle is on for 2nd place. Roland Collette now falls back to 3rd, put Alan Duggar in the number 15 to 2nd place.
You got Paul Denino up there as well in car number 150, running in the 6th spot. Field really getting loosey-goosey off of turn number 4. Saw the same thing too off of turn 2. You know, something to keep, I don't know if it has to do with it as well, Jeremy, but something we see at this track compared to a lot of different tracks is that the straightaways have a lot of banking. There is no flat place here at Dover Motor Speedway except for the apron and pit road.
Got to be extremely patient with the monster miles here. Can bite you at any moment. As we saw Trevor Baxter take that lead, but Alan Duggar not going too far away. Putting the pressure on Trevor Baxter here.
Duggar started 5th in this race. Now got a nice little draft there down the front. Historically, as I was mentioning before, we had that close call with William Lark. Historically, this is a place with the next gen where the low side will be dominant. When we had the Gen 6 and the Car of Tomorrow in years past at Dover, both grooves were just unbelievably perfect. Don't know if it had to do with the horsepower or whatnot, but both grooves came in really handy, low or high. You picked the groove, you had a good chance.
We'll see how this spreads out here. Right now, everybody's just kind of running the same line. They're lower entry, kind of just right up in the center, and then just try to gas it up on the bottom on exits.
Ooh. Paul Donito kissed the wall pretty good behind them as well. This opens up the door for Sanchez.
Sanchez trying to pounce on this. Right there. Oh, man. His driver's extremely close off of that turn 2, man. That's incredible. Some great racing here. We had that quick early caution. It looks like Hegland has crashed out, but we missed that. That
got reports that Thomas Hegland went on the pit road. Don't see anything on my timing end if he crashed or not. Just went on the pit road. Hegland reported as completing 9 laps at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see. Actually, we may have a replay here for you with Hegland.
Oh, yeah.
Got up in the wall there, but it was dealing with a lot of net code at the same time, Jeremy.
Yeah, a little bit bouncy right there. Not sure what happened, but you can see he was trying to step in out of the way. Definitely, you can see that right front looks broke. Cannot get to the turns, so probably limp it right here, right to pit road, and call it a night. Unfortunate. I'm not sure where he was on that playoff bubble, but if he was close to it, or not close to it, it's going to hurt his chances as the season, the regular season is winding down so here quickly. As we are 20 laps into this 260 lap event, man, these laps are starting to tick away here quickly. We got a stage end to here in the near future as well.
You mentioned Hegland, 10th of the standings coming on in. Watching Alan Duggar, though, very closely. Try and set his move up on Trevor Baxter, just staying right there inside the rearview mirror of Trevor Baxter. Wonder if you maybe think at the same time, possibly. You watching here as well, Sanchez battling with Corey Atkins, the 24 for 6. And give credit to Atkins here so far early, Jeremy. Up 18 spots after starting from 24, but they just about banged fenders there, banged sheet metal. That got close, but Atkins with the advantage, moves up to 6. Your biggest mover in the race after starting 24th.
I was just about to say Sanchez was doing a great job using that higher line. It looks like the rest of the field is getting ready to start moving up in the middle here, 22 laps into this event, but as you can see, it's very tight on exit there with the car in front of them.
They'll want to try and keep our eye on that race lead, though, with Duggar still all over Baxter. I was going to ask you this as well, Jeremy. You think that Duggar may be saving his tires here, too, at the same time?
I'm not sure, but man, Alan Duggar is not going away on that Baxter machine. That is a close battle. Like you said, is Baxter saving? I'm not sure. I believe we got about 40 laps left, 41 laps left in this stage. As Duggar finally moves up a lane, loses a bunch during the center, but he'll try to gain it back down the straightaway. Look at that, 173 miles an hour on a mile. That's impressive.
I've said this in the past. I said this to you and our producer Christian before we went live, and as someone that's been here once a couple years ago in person, I kind of consider it as Bristol on steroids, because you got that bit high banking similar to Bristol, we got the oval similar to Bristol. It's just doubled in length that 1 mile, and when you watch these cars go by, especially watching for the infield, it's insane how much speed they carry.
Yeah, one of the years I actually sat pretty close to the fence there, and it almost reminded me of like a dirt race. You had so much rubber dust that would come up when these cars would pick up the rubber on the cautions. It would kind of get on your skin. You're kind of a little bit sweaty, so you'd smear it and have these black streaks all over your arms. It was definitely a unique experience, something I've never experienced before, and just the sounds of these cars going by at just monster speeds in this just short of a straightaway is pretty impressive.
We've actually been seeing that rubber buildup as well. Not sure if you can see it. Yep, you can see right there off of turn 4, those marbles.
We got somebody on pit road.
Great pictures there by Christian and our friends at Whiplash SimCams. Got another good battle on the racetrack for 9th. Josh Switzer, Billy Brickley. We got one on pit road. That's Gabe Burke in car number 8. Not been the race he wanted after starting 14th. He's dropped down to 28th. Remember, they go up to lap 60 here at the end of stage 1 of the field window, just about 75, 80 laps. So don't expect a lot of drivers to pit here under the stage unless they want to. Just got one up there on the wall, really close call there. I think that was Brickley in the 69.
I believe I'm in the 22 actually.
Or the 20, yeah, the 22 of Sanchez, who's a little bit off there in that situation. But don't expect a lot of these drivers. As 3 wide doesn't really work here at the Monster Mile. Oh boy, hang on.
Lark with that smart move of backing out of that as well, and that number 10 machine.
That's
not going to work.
I know he got sideways earlier on as he pops the wall once again. That's smart racing IQ for the driver of that Exalted Chevy Camaro. In front of him, though, Miguel Alvarez, Randy Bell. Good battle for 12th. Alvarez, one of those that did not qualify to take time. So he started back in the 26th spot thanks to his I rating. Now tries to attack on the 33. That's the race for 12th on your screen.
We got cars all over the track right now, just scraping the wall each and every lap. You see there, William Millard, number 10 machine, looks like he was in the wall pretty heavy once again. He seems to be struggling just a little bit with the taming the monster here of Miles, and way up the track right there. Kind of falling back right now, either got some damage or just trying to save his stuff, trying to get to the end of this stage. Back up front real quick though, Trevor Baxter is now pulled out to almost a half a second lead. As Alan Duggar now getting credit from Roland Collette.
Yeah, give credit to Duggar at least.
Smacks the wall.
Yeah, give credit to Duggar at least because he's still keeping inside attack mode on Trevor Baxter. Just the only issue now he has is Roland Collette now sets up in the rearview mirror. So not the best time to be playing offense if you Duggar, because right now you got to focus on defense and try and hang on to that second spot.
Right now,
look at our biggest movers here throughout this race so far. Again, talked about Corey Atkins. He's up 18 spots. Miguel Alvarez up 13. Some other big movers right now. Brian Burchett, he's up 12 into 15th spot. Josh Hyatt up 10 into 18th. Then the final one I'm seeing on my screen, Paul Danino started in 11th. He currently runs in 5th.
This is some really good racing here. Out of our 29 starters, we got 27 still running on the track. 2 are sitting on pit road at this time. As the leader now looks like getting ready to put maybe, I believe, up to the 64 Ronald Judd a lap down.
Halfway here through stage 1, Judd in the wall, but he lets the leaders go. This also starts to become a 3-car battle here. And speaking of 3-car battles, got to keep an eye on the race for 10th spot. Switzer, Best, and Belk. You're watching Best right there on your screen. Keep in mind, that's 1 point towards the regular season here as Best, oh boy, got on the throttle big time there in the center of 1 and 2. He pulls even with Switzer in a drag race down the back.
1 point can make or break your season right now. Trying to grab that spot is Daniel Best on the outside looking in. Switzer doing a good job right now holding on to it. Sanchez just in front of this, and that 22 machine.
And give an update as well. Gabe Burke has left pit road. We talked about how he was coming in, repaired the race car for just under 4 minutes, so he's numerous laps down here. You're on board with Randy Belk. See how he does off of turn number. Great exit there, but what a camera shot as the 5 of Best kissed the wall, and he kissed it very, very good. Loses the spot there.
I don't know if that was a kiss.
That was more of a kiss. That was more of a French kiss, I guess you could say.
Yeah, pretty much a body slam. Woo. Yeah,
a headbutt.
Yeah. Christian Hill with the headbutt. I like that call. As you can see, lap traffic trying to be navigated here. And
meanwhile, you still got Duggar now starting to challenge Baxter for the race lead. Lap traffic has played to his advantage and also saving tires at the same time. Baxter nearly in the wall. Duggar tried to peek down to the basement. Now moves upstairs up to the attic, hugging that safer barrier. See if we get that drive off for turn 2.
First 20 laps of this stage, drivers were just wrapping the bottom. Now 40 laps into this stage, we've now migrated almost up against the wall. I knew this track was going to build some character here tonight, and they're doing just that. We got a 3-car battle here for the lead. Baxter, Duggar, Collette.
20 laps to go here in stage number 1, and the clean air has worked very well for Baxter so far is in this one. But if Alan Duggar takes the race lead away, how can the car handle? Will it be better than Baxter if he gets the race lead? Obviously, there are a lot more variants like lap traffic here in the situation because they're about to approach Tommy Osborne in car number 44.
Just how you can tell how fast these drivers are going right now. Just hauling the mail. Their best laps, though, we've almost fallen off the second. They were at 23.5s. We're now down to 24.3s. So almost a second of fall off here. 45, almost 45 laps into this event.
Just had the 16-8 Pollard make its way onto pit road. And again, Alan Duggar's been doing this a lot in turns 1 and 2, Jeremy. He's been dominating that corner, trying to get back on the power first, and use the banking as just a little bit more momentum. Won't be able to do it, though, here in turns 3 and 4. But I think Collette sees what Duggar's doing. He's trying to learn from that.
Definitely picking up some speed here up for the battle for this lead. Duggar doing a great job just keeping those headlights out, just peeking out, keeping the fresh air on that nose, keeping the downforce on it, being able to throttle off on exit. Definitely keeping the pressure on here, the leader of Trevor Baxter. Collette falling off just a little bit right here, but he said it gets really good exits. Oh, just a little scrape of the wall. No harm, no foul.
Should mention real quick, got another challenge for 8th. Randy Belk moving up a spot past James Nesta in the 29. Also found his way past Josh Sanchez moments ago. All eyes, though, still on the battle for the race lead. It does take 3 to tango here at Dover.
Collette not letting these drivers get too far away, though. Like I said, he did fall back a little bit, but he can put those laps together. He definitely closes the gap. I'm not sure if it's a dirty air that I might be struggling with, because he closes the gap and he falls off just a tad. So it is hard to find clean air when you got 2 cars side by side in front of you.
They'll all nose to tail, just following each other, hoping for no mistakes at the moment. And I think the drivers have learned since taking the green flag about their mistakes. You can't get really too high on corner exit because, like I mentioned earlier, that safety barrier can come at you at any time, and in some cases end your night early.
He'll sneak right out on you and bite you, attack you.
It's like a sucker punch that Miles the Monster can get you. Here's Collette for second. A beautiful smooth corner. Duggar just has to dig back in, and now it's Collette that tries to attack here on Trevor Baxter. Again, it's the front row. They're just swapped now in positions.
Collette making that work. Was definitely doing the right moves to get himself up into that number 2 position. We'll see how this battle continues on, if he can get to that back bumper of Baxter before the end of the stage. Nate Pollard has manually disconnected to end his night.
Randy Belk, though, give credit to him meanwhile. It's been probably saving the most tires of everyone. Making its ways past Corey Atkins up there side-by-side race for 7th. Next target right ahead for him, Billy Brickley, the number 69, get battle for 6th, happening as you see the 10 get sideways once again. William Lark really wants a caution so he can pit for 4 fresh tires.
We're probably hoping to stay in the lead lap here too. Oh, our leaders both in the wall. Oh my goodness, that was heavy contact there for Baxter and Collette.
Baxter still hanging on, but look at this lap traffic. A wad as he tries to use, I believe that was Josh Switzer as a pick in the 6, and it was. And that helped tap Baxter out, open the gap by about 2/10 there last time by. And we'll see if Duggar can close it now too.
Switzer did absolutely nothing wrong there. If you're not familiar with it, Switzer just tried to ride his line. The leader had choices going high or going low. The lap traffic chose low, so the leader chose high. That's just how it works. You can see right there, lap traffic chose to stay high on the exit. So each and every lap the leaders have to navigate these drivers and where they are. The slower traffic, though, 50 laps into this event, being slightly tricky to navigate, as Collette is now almost down to 2/10 a second on this lead.
They'll keep an eye on Randy Belk as well. He's now through to 6th, pretty much right now the fastest car on the racetrack, but also Final stage point on the line. Josh Sanchez, Miguel Alvarez battling for a spot. Give credit to Alvarez once again, one of the drivers that did not qualify. Decided to start via iRating. Started 26, ran 11th. He's going for a stage point here past Sanchez off of 2.
Leaders passing Stephen Bird there to put him down on a lap there in the number 26 machine. That leaves us with 20 cars on the lead lap so far left in this first stage. Collette trying to regroup now after navigating that lap traffic, trying to get into a groove. Trying to put down some good laps here. Riding that higher line, trying to get lower exits, drive down the hill, trying to create that momentum on the exit. You can tell he's pushing it hard, trying to get there. Randy Balta running 24.32s. Trevor Baxter actually was finally
One
fast.
driver really sideways off the corner. That was Hewitt in the number 11, just outside the top 10, but it's able to catch it right in front of the leader, though. It's a huge hornet's nest for 10th on back, all battling for stage point. Sanchez trying to hang on. Nested through up to 10th. They went 3 wide off for turn 2, and somehow nobody banged doors with another driver. And they could go 3 wide once again.
Nesta and Birch, Burchett, battling hard there for that final position. The leaders out here battling hard for the stage win. So many things to cover right now.
Yeah, the gap between him and Collette at a quarter of a second. But right now the danger zone, it is from 10th on back with Burchett, Nesta on back. If a wreck breaks out, especially on a straightaway, it can sometimes lead to a checkup upon checkup upon checkup. That's been normal product of Dover in the past. 3 laps to go in stage 1. Next time by, when I hit 2, the pits will close for green flag stops. Baxter leading by 0.2 of a second on Collette. And he's got Chris Essery working on here in the number 4. Keep in mind, some of these drivers too racing for a free pass spot at the same time as Essery lets the top 2 go with no issues. Now works on best. Baxter is just thinking to himself right now, please just give me the caution.
Oh, there's a wreck right in front of him.
41 spins.
Oh no, he's gonna be in
Oh
it.
boy, Collette's involved. Front end damage to the number 9.
Heavy damage to number 9 of Collette, our second place driver.
First
Wow.
driver that's done was Michael Kurdzielak. And again, there's that stack up that I brought up just about a lap or so ago.
I believe it's actually going to be 65 for the stage end. 65.
They're going 65 for the stage end. Okay.
Wow. That is going
So
to
that's-
shake up the battle for the lead.
And so this makes things as well interesting at the same time now. For this break, do you come in for pit stops and try and get the track position to begin stage 2, or do you want stage points at the end? We'll see what happens here. So you're correct. I've been saying 660 all along at 65.
That is all right. It is all right. Looks like everybody's coming on pit road.
Danny Carpenter stays out. He wants to go for the stage points and the playoff points. And again, that can be critical towards the postseason come September. Carpenter stays out. Same with Atkins, Burchett, Alvarez, Hewitt. From my perspective right now, 5 drivers on the lead lap staying out.
5 drivers trying to gamble. But with almost over, I think we were at a second of fall off there. They're going to have their hands full for these last couple laps. We'll have to see how it plays out. Could lead to some more chaos. Baxter's got to keep himself clean. We'll see that number 9 and see how much time he takes on pit road. He's going to have all that damage to fix.
Let's see here, Collette, how long does he go on pit road? He loses a spot to Duggar for right now. Remember, no quick repairs in door-to-door action. We'll lose a spot to Danino, and same with Randy Belk. It'll be a little bit so Collette can get all that repair job done. But it's just now a question of how much track position will he lose. Again, second caution out, Michael Kurdzielak with the spin down the back chute right in front of the race leaders. You take a look at what happened. Again, it was a 3-wide situation. Just got squeezed, had some contact there off the 29 and the 00.
And then these drivers were just battling really hard because they knew the leader was coming. And unfortunately,
3 cars trying to go for the same spot on the track just did not work out.
And Michael Reeves did a great job keeping it straight, but then watch the 9. Look how slow the 2 is trying to avoid it. That's Josh Hyatt. Nowhere to go was the 9 car of Roland Collette. Collette is off pit road. He'll restart unofficially in the 14th spot when we come back to green.
Benefit for Collette, too, is we're going to have a quick caution here after this stage break so he can come down and get some more damage fixed.
Right on board here, I believe this is with Collette. To the gyro. And first he actually had another car too. That's the 57 of Brian Wasserman.
Just could not avoid that machine of Hyatt, who was trying to avoid everything else as well.
Set to come back to the green flag. 3 laps to go. All right, let's keep an eye out on the top 6 drivers. They did not pit as they're looking for stage points, and some did not get going, and it leads to a crash. Alvarez goes around our second restart exit right in front of a couple of drivers, 29, 22, and Duggar may have gotten a piece of that as well. Checking on damage on the number 12, I think I see very minimal front-end damage. His car looks like it does have some.
Man, oh man, back-to-back trouble for second-place cars, basically, after that pit cycle would have happened, and looks like maybe some slight inexperience there with the old tires trying to fire off on this tricky concrete 1 mile.
And we're hearing this will complete the stage, so Danny Carpenter is your stage 1 winner. A lot of cars, though, getting sideways. The 26 the first, and then the 19. Here's a look from Barney's GoPro. Just look at that mess. Yeah, we had one car as well up on 2 wheels at the same time. Checking on who that car was that went on 2 wheels. Jeremy, you know better than me.
A lot happened very quick.
That was actually Sanchez in the 22 that got up in the air there. Pit road, though, is open, and everyone's coming in either topping off on fuel or getting the 4 tires. This will move things over to Trevor Baxter, who will get the lead to begin stage number 2.
Well, I can tell you this, Trevor Baxter, oh, yep, that is the 22 there of Sanchez. Getting airborne there in that replay. Man, just, it's a very self-clearing track. All the banking on these straightaways, even though it is only 9 degrees, it just, the wrecks just kind of migrate down the track, and there's nowhere for anybody to go. And you watch the replay here, you can just see up front, everybody didn't get going. Out back, some people are checking up, and other people just, it happens so quick, and it's no fault of their own. I think that's just kind of one of the byproducts of not having any of the real life spotters let you know what's going on in front of you. You know, a couple cars ahead of you. It just happens so fast.
Another look here. This is what started things off here. First off, Atkins gets sideways, but there you see the 19 of Alvarez just goes around. Billy Belk got caught a piece of, Randy Belk was one of the best cars late in the end of that stage. 5 car caught up as well, Daniel Best. Giving the EOL to Alvarez as he was the first one that got sideways.
Lark officially retired.
The lights are off our iRacing pace car. Will set to begin stage number 2 this time. This stage will go up to lap 130. And again, the same thing like the first stage. Don't expect anyone to pit with the 75 to 80 lap fuel window. And again, it's your stage 1 winner. We'll double check on who won stage 1. Have it as Trevor Baxter, but Carpenter was out in front at the moment of caution. So we'll see what happens, how they're going to score that when we come back to the green flag. Pace car is in. Baxter, Danino, Brickley, Collette, Atkins, Carpenter, Freeman, Reeves, Essery, and Kurdzielak. That's the top 10 as we come back to green. We'll put 66 laps up on the board. Green flag back out. And Baxter said see ya.
Baxter with a rocket ship of a restart. Not sure if everybody else was just trying to take it easy on their tires on that restart, as we've seen it bite a couple drivers in the butt here earlier on, and everybody doing a good job on that restart, just trying to take it easy, and Baxter capitalizing, being the one to fire first.
That restart lap.
Look at his back mirror. Or his rear mirror, excuse me.
Jeremy, that restart lap looked like it was a long run. Not kidding, but Danino has given Trevor Baxter some company for the race lead. Let's see what happens here. But you can tell, we can easily tell with how quick the top 4 are that did not pit under the stage 1 brake, that there is very minimal difference on 4 laps of tires as Danino. Man, that's a big pop on that safer barrier.
I believe this might be Danino's 3rd start in this league. I believe he's been having some good finishes as well. One of the newcomers, and a couple of these drivers struggling again once that exit. When you're behind that car in front of you, you kind of follow them up to the exit of the wall, and you just forget that eventually there's no more concrete to drive on, and you just kind of pile it in there in an accident, and it wakes you up if you hit it too hard, and it'll bend some things if you do hit it way too hard.
Danino coming off a 6th place finish at Sonoma last week. The front of the field ran the best laps of the race. Baxter just pulled off the quickest lap, 23.23. Track temperature at the same time too here is starting to go down per iRacing time. It is 3:49 p.m. The track temp down at 99 degrees at the moment, but still slick, and now it's rolling Collette. Let's put up the fastest lap of this race in 3rd.
Collette.
That front end damage fully repaired as well, Jeremy, on that number 9.
I was just going to say, with him running the fastest lap of the race, I think he's done a pretty good job with that damage repair. I was just trying to remember if we were in the same race.
Sometimes you need just a little luck as well at the same time, because that big wreck that happened to end stage 1 really helped him gain a bunch of spots there. As you see, Collette's under attack by Billy Brickley for the bottom step of the podium.
Battling it hard right there, Collette. Like we said, doing a good job rebounding from that incident, get that nose damage. His crew doing a great job getting that repaired. Now finds himself in this podium spot, getting pressure from Billy Brickley. Corey Atkins rounding out our top 5. Atkins under pressure from Danny Carpenter.
Oh, Danino had a moment in turn number 3, lost a lot of time. And this allows Collette and Brickley to have a chance at the runner-up spot. Danino lost the 10th that last time by to Trevor Baxter.
Collette was one of those drivers that I thought was going to be one of the biggest threats there to the Baxter machine. Once he had that incident, I wasn't sure. Then he comes out here and throws on a really haymaker of a fast lap there. It scrapes the wall. But I think if he gets run the Danino machine, he may have something for our leader of Baxter when he gets there.
Hey, want to give credit as well so far. I know it's early in stage number 2, but some of these drivers that were just about put a lap down, Michael Reeves, Chris Essery, they're now in 7th and 8th. Remember, Reeves was involved in that caution flag, involved in the 41 of Kurdzielak, and Reeves has gained a bunch of track position after paying on lap 64.
Collette all over the back bumper of the 150 of Danino. I think he may have gave him a little shove there in turn 1. You can definitely tell Collette is faster, trying to make that pass happen sooner than later, because in his back rearview mirror is the Brickley machine. One little slip up there from either one of those drivers and Brickley will capitalize.
And that could have been a slip up right there for Danilo in turn 1. Saw the car just about go up the Monster Miles hill there in 1 and 2. There is a lane open though for for Collette at 9, but it's just a very thin lane that could lead to a lot of contact.
And that's also another one of those things that I like about this league is these drivers have a lot of give and take. They're not just going in there and throwing it in there and hoping that it sticks. These drivers make very calculated moves. We saw earlier on William Lark do a good job of just getting out of a 3-wide situation, not pressing the issue. Unfortunately, his night did still end early, but give and take is one thing that I really enjoy here about this door-to-door racing league, and it is in the name door-to-door, and I do see a lot of door-to-door racing each and every week.
That's on board with Colette in the number 9. Last time by, Colette knocked off 300ths of the gap, but really tight though in turns number 3. Chance for Billy Brickley to try and get on the attack as well, but Danilo catches the wall. Colette says, thank you very much, I'll take advantage of it. They're drag racing into 1.
I am anxious to see what this Colette machine is going to be like speed-wise once he gets himself in clean and green air and try and chase down that Baxter machine. I mean, his nose was punched in just probably 20 laps ago. I thought his night was done.
And you know, edges out Colette, moves up into the 2nd spot. Nice defense from the 150. Can he clear? Not just yet, but turn 2 may help him.
Maybe that top
And that
line
it did.
just coming in a little bit. Might be working there. And that upper lane, you can see Colette finally moves up, trying to get better exits. The Danino machine slightly holding up these drivers, but just in front of them, they've slightly caught up to the leader. A little slide there by Danino. He's going to be really tight off the exit of 2. He's got to get out of the throttle. That's going to give the position number 2 to Ronald Colette. It's going to be rolling Colette.
But Colette gets tight as well at the same time with a little slide job into turn 3. Danilo tries to counter it back, and Colette cracks the wall there once again. If you're Billy Brickley, what are you thinking of that 69?
Got a front row seat to this hard-fought battle for the position number 2. Maybe hoping these drivers maybe slip up and you can take a 2-for-1 special here. This will be Colette's first lap with no battling. We'll see what it compares to our leader.
We'll have the clean air alongside Trevor Baxter, but in fact for Baxter, he's got the biggest lead of this race so far at 1 second up on the number 9 and moments away from approaching lap traffic. But a very good start though for Trevor Baxter at the moment in the number 12. Looking at some other racing on the track, Thomas Freeman, Randy Belk battling for 9th. Remember Belk involved in that accident to end stage number 1. He was one of the faster race cars in that long run before we had that caution flag for the 41.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Belk machine to be involved in that. He was definitely one of our biggest movers in moving up through the field. It was exciting to watch. Not sure if the damage has slowed him down that much, but he is not as fast as he was earlier. We'll keep an eye on it. Actually just had a lap faster than our leader, so I'm going to take my words back in that. He might have found some speed finally. Get back into his rhythm. He was faster on the long run on that first.
Belk working on Freeman still for that 9th position. And the 33 car takes it away now. Tries to set his sights on the number 4 ride, Chris Cesare. Starting in the 23rd position. And now runs to the 8th spot.
Cesare doing a good job keeping it kind of quiet now. They're in 8th spot. Kerjlak right now in 11th is about 2.2 seconds out of a stage point.
You know, Alan Duggar, remember, was involved in the end of the stage 1 yellow, and he was a driver that was running as high as 2nd in this race, but since that yellow, the dirty air has not helped him out one bit. Stuck in 14th, works on Burchett to take away 13th.
Yes, not sure how much damage as well as he's collected through a couple of these incidences. We'll have to see how his car handles. Looks like his right front, I can't tell with the speed, but it looks like a little damage on the right front, but we'll keep an eye on him as he's going to run. We'll see what his lap time is right here compared to our leaders. I mean, he's running a 13 to a 99 in front of the leader, so not too far off here for Duggar. Just got to get that clean air.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but I think it goes back to one of my keys once again. The clean air. You're getting better handling on the tighter corners here at Dover, and helping out with lap times at the moment. Remember, Duggar right now He's still with the slipstream of James Nesta, so not really working out the best, but you see the gap between 1st and 13th. Duggar trying to cut that down a little bit.
Lap traffic now becoming a thing at the front again for their leaders.
Want to go back to Randy Belk. He works on Chris Essery. That's the race for 8th on the track. Belk with the long run car so far. Hasn't had the chance yet in this race to race alongside the front of the field. Belk though 2/10 slower than Baxter last time around. If he's able to get maybe inside top 5, top 3, will he be able to show the speed he has maybe for Baxter tonight?
I do think Belk, if he has the car that's not too damaged, he makes his pass look so easy right there. Does a good job wrapping the bottom.
And Essery nearly with a kiss to the wall there off of turn 4. Let's go to Corey Atkins. He's got company from Danny Carpenter. The race for 5th. Remember, both of these drivers pitted on lap 64 under the caution flag, and they have not gained any track position from it. Atkins was one of the fast charging cars in that long run after starting for the back. Remember, Carpenter stayed out to try and win himself stage 1, and Carpenter with a narrow entry trying to force his way to grab the spot.
Side by side here for Atkins and Carpenter battling into turns 3 and 4. Slight bump into 3, gotta be careful around that, but we'll give that to the number 28 of Carpenter.
And Carpenter tries to give, Atkins tries to give Carpenter a little bump draft down the front straight. Now Carpenter has some ground to make up on Billy Brickley, who works on Paul. He's working on a lap car there. He's got Paul Danino a half second ahead. So those are really the closer battles on the track. Let's get back to Belk as he's up on Reeves for 7th.
Little scrape of the wall right there coming out of turn 4 there for Belk. You can definitely tell he's really good to the center, keeping that car on the bottom. Low is the shortest way around if he's got the tires for it. For some reason, each and every run, he does a really good job of having those. Even though he's trying to sit here and make the pass, he's still not that far off our leader's pace.
Hard in the wall, the 0-0 of Reeves. Somehow kept it straight, but very heavy damage to the front end. And that will likely end his night.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that replay and see what happened there.
The front
just
straight.
Just looked away for a second and was just watching that battle there between those two drivers.
The front straight's just been basically Calamity Alley here. He had the 33 all over him, and I want to see if there was contact possibly. I don't want to say there was, but it was very close. Let's watch here off of turn 4. I don't think there was any contact.
I didn't see any contact from that angle.
Nope, there was. I was just watching on board the 33. And there was no contact. If we can get her on board with Randy, that will give you the ultimate angle. Actually, this will give you a better. Yep, here we go. Nope,
yep,
Reeves just lost
contact.
it.
Yep, 0-0
Reeves
contact.
just lost it.
Yep. Good eyes, guys.
2 incidents for Reeves in this one, and that one likely terminal.
Give that.
Carpenter working on Brickley. Let's get to the battle for 4th meanwhile. 30 laps to go in stage 2.
Brickley, heavy pressure there from Danny Carpenter.
Great defense from that 69. How does Carpenter try to reset?
Looks like he's doing a good job wrapping that bottom, keeping himself in clean air.
This is the first race we've seen in this run where it's fresh tires versus worn tires, but obviously there's not too much of a gap there. Again, we mentioned 4 laps, but no green flag laps though. So everyone's pretty much working on the same life of tires. As even after popping the wall, Carpenter underneath takes away 4th.
Still side by side here, back down the back stretch. So he's gonna chop him.
Wow!
trying to get him arrow loose.
Oh, he got him sideways.
But he got
Moved him
himself
about to group
loose in the
up.
press. Yep, he's going to be really tight on the exit. Carpenter's going to take that. Oh, behind him, a lap car with their hands full.
And behind him, Corey Atkins very sideways off of turn 4. He was dirt tracking it across the start-finish line.
Excuse me, I did say that was a lap car. My apologies.
You're good. But 103 laps complete. Trevor Baxter still your race leader. Now just put 104 up on the board. I think this gives us a good opportunity to get our first full field rundown of the race here, Jeremy. Right now, Trevor Baxter, your race leader, biggest lead so far in this race at 2.4 seconds. Roland Collette currently runs in second with Paul Danino rounding out the podium in third. Danny Carpenter runs in fourth with Billy Brickley in fifth. Corey Atkins scored in sixth. Randy Belk running seventh. Chris Essery in eighth. Thomas Freeman ninth. And Alan Duggar rounds out the top 10. Jeremy 11th to 20.
Michael Kerjelak right there outside the top 10, just 1.3 seconds out of the top 10 right now. William Hewitt there in the 12th position. Brian Burchett is in 13th. Daniel Best for some hard contact earlier on right there in the 14th spot. Joshua Sanchez is in 15th after going for a two-wheel bicycle ride. Stephen Bird had kind of an eventful night here tonight, is in 16th. 18th or 17th goes the 87 of Bradley Knopfschneider. He's one of those drivers on the playoff bubble. Tommy Osborne right there in 18th, then number 44 machine. Spitzer, number 6, is in 19th. James Nesta rounding out our top 20.
Ronald Judd remains on track in 21st, but about 7 laps down. Michael Reeves behind the wall in 22nd. These couple of drivers out of the race. Josh Hyatt 23rd, Miguel Alvarez 24th, William Lark 25th, Brian Wasserman in 26th, Gabe Burke 27th, Nate Pollard is 28th, and Thomas Hegland rounds out the field in 29th. Battle for ninth, though, happening off of turn 2. Alan Duggar, Thomas Friedman. And so Duggar trying to pick up the pace where he left off, just not inside the top 5 just yet.
Not just yet, but we know he was a contender. If he has any damage with the stage break coming up here very shortly, he's going to get just that. Stage break is going to be at lap 130. So we are about 22 laps away from our next stage break.
Again, don't expect anyone to pit unless we get a caution flag. Drivers with 5 sets of tires in this race on this concrete-like track, which, a fun fact, by the way, is the oldest track, whether it be concrete or asphalt, in the sport. Once Auto Club got repaved, now Dover remains the oldest because of this. Because of that, it just really takes a lot off on your tires. And so you really want four fresh Goodyear Eagles. Let's go to Corey Atkins. Company from the 33, Randy Belk, just moved up and took away 6th.
Taking a look at our lap times real quick. Belk running a 24:27. His fastest was a 23:65. So we're about almost a half a second slower than our pace earlier on.
Paul Danino with company. Danny Carpenter for 3rd. Give credit to Carpenter. He's got a car right for the long run here tonight, Jeremy.
Yep, Danino not looking too bad here on our longer runs. Lap traffic having to navigate. Danny Carpenter looking really good right here. In the 4th spot, looking to pounce. Get himself on the podium here just before the stage break. One more point in the playoffs.
Nice block though by Paul Danino, and now he tries to use the 5 of Daniel Best here as a pick. But now Carpenter dives 3 and 4.
Nope, not
Decides
just
to
yet.
think better of it.
Thought of it though.
And now this is where Carpenter may shine, yet not just yet. He's still with the best of best. That's allowed Danino to open up the gap to a 1/4 of a second. Just had Brickley, meanwhile, behind them. Tag the wall off at turn 4, and this allows Randy Belk to try and grab a spot in the top 5. Possibly the battle's on there.
Belk running lap times very close to our leader. It's one car that I want to see get to the front of this field. I think he's going to be another one of those contenders for Baxter. As every so often, Collette, though, does run a lap or two quicker, but right now 2.7 back.
Yeah, Baxter continuing to dominate this race. Has kept the gap at that same gap as we did compared to our full field run down at 2.8 seconds on Roland Collette, but we still continue to watch Danny Carpenter try and grab third on Paul Danilo. Wants one extra stage point that could go towards the regular season. And maybe even a spot in the playoffs as well at the same time. I don't know if Danilo will have a chance. He's not in the top 13. Danny Carpenter, though, is 5th in the points.
Really tight battle there between Danilo and Carpenter there, 28 and the 150. Battle for the third spot. Coming to the end here of the stage. Can Carpenter get it? Still side by side down the backstretch with a lap car going to be in the way.
I really like the line, though, that Danino's driving in 1 and 2. It's helping him prevail and hang on to that third spot, but Carpenter tries to get him a little bit arrow loose there through 3 and 4. The first half of the lap is where Danino shines. Second half is where Carpenter is better. And there you see there, Danino able to cut the gap off for right now, but got up the hill. Here comes Carpenter. This is good stuff.
You know, they've been side by side for so long. Don't look too far. Here comes Randy Belk.
Belk again, very good on the long run here throughout this race so far.
Quicker.
Yeah, you're right. Great point. 3/10 quicker that last time by compared to Carpenter and Danino. He could be in striking distance within the next 2-3 laps on the 28 and the 0. How's this lap traffic going to affect them maybe? And Joshua Sanchez.
Sanchez is going to have to figure out a way to go here as well.
Carpenter clears.
Oh, Danino, a little loose. That makes Elk find the wall a little bit. Carpenter finally prevails, can get around that lap traffic. But Danino's going to have a mirror full of the Randy Belk machine, who is on the move, that number 33.
10 laps to go in stage 2. Coming to 9 to go this time in the stage for Baxter. Now leads by 3.16 seconds over Roland Collette. And now here's Belk on Danino for 4th. Danino trying to follow the line that the lap car is doing. I'm not too sure why, though.
I'm not sure either, but Randy Belk is going to make this pass look extremely easy.
Randy Belk through to 4th. Now needs to try and make up just about a full second if he wants just one extra point on Danny Carpenter. Final stage point right now would go to Thomas Freeman. Good gap, though, on Michael Kurdzielak at 1.4 seconds. Kurdzielak racing William Hewitt for 11th. Closest battle on the track.
Up front, Collette trying to crack into that lead. Ever so slightly can and can't do every other lap here. 2/10 faster than everybody running that lap for the Collette machine. Some slight inconsistencies. We'll see if he can hold it each and every lap. See, that lap time ended up being a little bit slower than Baxter. So Collette has got the speed, just got to make it consistent.
Yeah, just the clean air. For the top 2, it's just matching lap times at the moment. When Collette's in dirty air, he's just trying everything with the fresh tires. But once the tires get worn out a little bit, that's when I think Baxter prevails to his advantage. 5 to go in stage 2.
Randy Belk, not too fast than our leaders, but correct himself into the top 5. Muscled his way into the top 5, I might say. Passing a lot of cars when he makes this green flag run.
And a battle for 8th as well. You've got Essery and Duggar door to door with a heave of lap traffic ahead. Actually, check, that's actually just one lap car. Tommy Osborne and then the 7th place driver of Corey Atkins. And in the wall is Essery. Duggar takes advantage, uses the lap car as a pick. And now Duggar tries to grab another spot on Corey Atkins. It's comeback season for Alan Duggar, and he's trying to make it work here in stage 2.
Doing a really good job at the end of this run there for that Duggar machine. Definitely has that long speed.
Found a hole that the 24 of Atkins opened up, and
yep,
Atkins He's starting to run out of tires, I think, for the looks of it, and he's going to lose another spot here, too, to the 4 of Essery. Atkins taking on. He's in trouble.
Yeah, I can see flames shooting out, coming out of the exit of turns. That means the driver is out of the gas, not in a good time.
Yeah, he may have used up too much tire life throughout stage 2. Again, we talked about the grip. Very key here at a track like Dover Motor Speedway with the concrete. Pits are already closed here. Trevor Baxter will have 1 lap to go in this stage.
Comfortable 3-second lead, though, for Baxter as well. I think that's the biggest lead he's had all night.
Carpenter and Randy Belts, the 2 biggest movers throughout stage 2, will race for 3rd in the end, but Trevor Baxter makes his way through turns number 3 and 4. Another stage win, another playoff point. Trevor Baxter takes it here in Dover to close out stage 2. Going back 3.6 seconds, you'll find Roland Collette, who finishes 2nd. Carpenter able to beat Belk at the line for the 3rd spot. And it'll be Paul Danino for 5th. Then back is Billy Brickley for 6th. Alan Duggar, good stage for him as he finishes in 7th, and he only got 6th. Then it's Essery, race for 9th. Freeman gets it over Atkins in the wall, and it's so happy to see the green checkered flag. And that does it here for stage 2. So it's Trevor Baxter that takes the win in a caution-free stage 2. Step aside real quick. We'll get the mics on mute when we come back. Pit stops here on Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
How about this development as we get set to begin stage number 3? Roland Collette to restart as the leader on Trevor Baxter as you're watching live coverage of Door to Door Cup Series on Maconi Entertainment, brought to you by Kinetic Gaming, a proud esports team. For more information, check them out at kineticgaming.com. But Jeremy, talk to me, what made the difference on that pit stop between Collette and Baxter? The pit time is the same, but I'm noticing on pit lane as a whole, a difference by about 7/10 of a second between Collette and Baxter.
And that is tremendous here on pit road, over half a second faster on pit road speed. So it looks like Collette was ready to go on his marks there. I mean, a little bit quicker too on his pit stall, a 13.8 to a 14.3. So let's see what Collette has now in charge of this field, coming to the green.
We'll talk about pit strategy keys in just a moment because there is one stop left to go and it could happen under green flag. That, though, is one of them because track position is everything. Collette set to fire inside the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. We're back to green, halfway home with 134 laps complete.
Everybody's spreading out here towards the back of the pack. A little craziness, but up front, Roland Collette. Have no fear. Staying up front, Trevor Baxter all over his back bumper, trying to run a lane higher, trying to drive down the hill and get to the inside of the number 9 into turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he can get there.
This was the race we saw earlier on, but now we want to keep an eye, though, on Randy Belk. Now in the 3rd spot, had probably the best long-run car to close out Stage 2 next to Trevor Baxter and Roland Collette. If we get a long run here, how do you feel that Belk will do? There's a gap, though. Did not have a good restart. He's a second behind to the top 2. Collette gets sideways right in front of Baxter. The top 2 get together. Everybody stacks up, and the 24 Beckins is collected. Same with the 0 of Danilo. What in the world just happened?
Holy smokes. I gotta see this replay.
Big mess. As it looked like the 9 of Collette got very sideways right in front of Baxter, and through to the lead goes Randy Belk.
Wow.
This race has turned on its axis here in the early makings of stage number 3. Here's a look at what happened. Watch the 9 in turn 4 from the aerial shot. You'll see the back ends just start to come out. Cold tires may be a little bit of a factor here, Jeremy. And then you'll see the second part where the 9 tried to save it.
Yeah, and you know, Baxter's having a good run right here. You know, you can see Baxter's just
Right there,
the
too much
gas,
overcorrection.
Yep, Baxter just nowheres to go. Nothing he could have done there, and the 9 did try to save it, and wow.
And then impressive
Miles
by the
Mazur
second
struck.
back. Yes, Miles has definitely struck and caught its prey. He's been wanted. That was like boss level mode there.
Oh, Adkins nowhere to go. Looks like the 150 Danino got there into the 69.
Yeah, tough break as well for Billy Brickley. Give credit, though, to Carpenter and Belk for dodging that, though, because, you know, with the way the banking slopes down, like we've seen a lot on these front stretch cautions today, it's been a lot of people, and they were there right place at right time to avoid it. Here's the onboard with the dominant car of the season so far, Trevor Baxter.
I mean, I would say both these cars were pretty dominant all night long, and unfortunately,
And now they're wrecked.
They're both out for the rest of the night here, and I tell you what, one driver's really happy to see that. That's Randy Belk. I will say, though, Billy Brickley, too, did get spun out there, but still being scored in second.
Wow. I guess Christmas came early for the driver of the 69. It is, in fact, they do say sometimes it can be Christmas in July. Another look here in real time.
I think he did get contact in the inside there. I think he does get contact towards the end of his spin. Not sure how.
Yep, so he does. That's at least 4x, I know that.
And then it gets just tagged a little bit right here. He'll spin across the track, and I believe a car will come in late here that's already sideways as well.
Nope, that's not a spin. That's a save. That is a save.
Right
but
there.
Yeah, more contact there, too. That's heavy contact from Hewitt in the 11. But we're set to come back to green. Field is in turns 3 and 4. Well, this has changed. Belk, Brickley, Duggar back in this race now after he was good in stage 1, then was in that accident. So keep an eye out on him as well. Freeman, Danino, that's the top 5. Actually, excuse me, Kurdzielak, that's the top 5. Baxter now restarts in 7. Collette out of the race for right now. He's stuck on pit road. Same with Corey Atkins. Wow. A lot to stage 3 there. Drivers, some of them pitted underneath that caution flag, but they will have to make one more stop still.
Man, trying to digest everything that's happened right here. Look at our leader, Randy Belk. One of the drivers we knew was pretty fast. Look who's behind him, Alan Duggar.
There goes Duggar.
Trying to stick it there to the inside through turns 1 and 2, but Randy Belk trying to use the momentum off the top of 1 and 2. He's going to make it work. Billy Brickley with that contact on his left side still with pace to be running right there in the top 3.
Probably the biggest benefactor with that caution flag waving is this man right there, the 15 of Alan Duggar, with all the track position that he picked up, but still has to deal with Brickley in the race for 3rd. You got as well Kurtulak and Freeman battling for 4th position. Actually, check that. That's a lap car of Stephen Bird trying to get his lap back. We'll see if that could be a factor, though. Kurtulak still stuck in 4th. Carpenter and Sanchez in the back. We got trouble, though.
Brickley into the wall hard.
Brickley hard.
I think he wrecked and tried to save it. Oh, we got one spin, almost spin on the front stretch.
Caution flag waves. I don't know if that was Brickley again or who that spun out.
I believe it was
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
that almost spun out on the front stretch.
Oh, that was the 26 of Bird who was trying to get his lap back. That's who that was. But yeah, the biggest factor, Billy Brickley running in the 3rd spot. But another front runner, Miles, has eaten up.
I wonder if this might be a result of that damage that he did receive. The car maybe, just gets
that's not
over those bumps.
That's got to be a tire. That is, I don't know.
Those bumps and it gets loose is what it looks like from here.
We'll have to ride on board because a car normally doesn't overcorrect like that.
I think.
Oh, you know what it was? You know what it was?
The toe link might have been bent on the left side.
Take a ride from the cockpit of Billy Brickley. You'll see what he does here. Hard head out the safer barrier, all 4 wheels off the ground of the 69. Watch this closely. Downshifts into 4th, too many revs. You can see how the tack's in the red. And as he tries to save it, the car's already just sideways in the corner. Nothing Brickley can do.
Yeah, I was running some practice laps.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was running some practice laps at Dover this week myself, and one of those Maconi setups, and I kind of struggled myself going there into turn 3, shifting too early, then going over those bumps and having it, kind of wound up because our RPMs were too high, and it would do just that. And yep, I've been there myself. Trying to figure out when Alan Duggar took the lead. Did I miss that?
Yeah, we're trying to see when Duggar took the lead as well. Oh, you know what happened? As Brickley caught the wall, Belk actually got sideways. He dirt tracked it in turn 3. And so that is how Alan Duggar just took advantage and went to the lead when the yellow flag flew. So, man, oh man, stage 3 has just been an entirely different race compared to the first 2 stages. Here's a look. Watch the 33 here as we went to the yellow flag. Look at that dirt track.
Slide, yeah.
That's a good save.
And then the yellow doesn't come out. And
it's not even out for a while until about right here.
Yeah, I think it's out now. So yep, that was a good pass there by the Duggar machine. Completely missed it with that car wrecking.
So after being involved late in stage number 1, Alan Duggar set to restart here in stage 2, in stage 3 as the leader. See if some drivers pitted, but all these caution flags giving drivers opportunities to pit, some of them topping off maybe on fuel. That could be the difference between setting up an overcut and an undercut here at the same time, Jeremy.
Yeah, and I believe I think they should have 3 sets of tires available for this final stage as well.
Absolutely. So, but you don't want to waste them because we haven't had a lot of green flag laps yet in this stage. Coming to 114 laps to go here. Alan Duggar, the new leader, we're back to green. And we got one in the wall already. It's Freeman.
Not a very good start there.
The back.
We're side by side for second off of turn 2.
How about Kurtulak? After being involved in the race's second caution for a spin, running in the 3rd position. Great recovery for the number 41. I guess the $1 million question of the day today. Oh, we got one around on the front straight. Maybe not. Yep, and we did. It was Ronald Judd in the 64 sideways. He'll have to get that towed back. He's going to try and get it back straight, but it will likely bring a caution flag out. We'll check and see. He's stuck in the middle of the track. He's stuck in the middle of the track. He's trying to get down the apron. And a yellow comes down. Oh, no.
Sanchez
That's
got
Sanchez
tagged.
22. What in the world is going on?
Sanchez got tagged on the exit of 4 as the caution was coming out.
Meatball for Sanchez, and so the looks of it, he got really sideways off at turn number 4. Nesta had no time to check up. He suffers damage from that, but let's see the 64 spin, though, on the first situation. There was contact from Brian Burchett. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to see. I don't know if Burchett was carrying too much speed or if Judd was just really off the pace. But now, just here in this situation where you're 10 laps down, if you're Ronald Judd, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but at this point, you should just tow it. I honestly don't see any reason to get that car back going.
It was in quite the precarious situation. As you can see,
Absolutely.
Sanchez got tagged right before the caution came out. And
That just basically made things worse for wear.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I say tagged, I mean it was kind of in the wall, loose there, and got shoved, and then shoved his car down the track there. So, right there, a little bump from behind as he makes contact with a wall, and unfortunately, that sent him to the inside wall where the car was sitting, where the yellow was coming out for.
Let's watch this one more time here with Judd. And Burchett eats him. I'll give credit to Judd, though, trying to save it, trying to stay in this race, trying to gain points as much as he can. But, yeah, just a tough break for that number 64, and that impact for the 22 may have just ended his day.
Possibly for both drivers, days being ended there.
So, you know, something that we should bring up as well here, too, Jeremy, this is just basically making, because of these laps under caution, it's basically just making this fuel window a lot longer for these drivers. Like we said, it was going to be about 75 laps or so. Now you're looking at maybe like an 80 lap stint, where we could see drivers come in around lap 212, which would put them good to the finish. That would give them like under 50 laps to go in the race. But the longer we're getting these laps, it's just helping out with economy.
Making the strategy easier to make it to the end here. Now these drivers are going to have to make sure the numbers are punched and make sure they make that move quickly. I'm not sure if any drivers are going to maybe try to do the 2-stop method here. But I think they would have had to make it on this pit when we're getting ready to come to almost, I think, about 107 laps to go. Split it into about 50 laps here.
So Duggar remains out front. We've got only 10 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. Miles the Monster has not been happy that there's had to be two cup races in the same day. I can guarantee you that for sure. He's fine with NASCAR, but apparently he just doesn't like to be awake for a long time, I guess. So, back to the green. And Duggar is gone. Danino for second. Side by side with Belk here down the back.
Belk trying to make that move back to the front, as he just lost the lead on that exchange. He got loose. He's going to fall back to the third position for it now, but we do know he's one of the faster cars on the long run. And having the clean air already, we'll have to keep an eye on it. We know Duggar was a fast car as well.
Absolutely. Danilo, keep in mind, couple laps, fresher tires, 5 laps compared to both Duggar and Belk. We'll just have to see what happens there. Let's see if Belk can regroup and get set to pass the top 2. Behind them, Kurdzielak still 4th. Danny Carpenter in 5th. Stephen Bird, after being a lap down at one point in this race, he's running to the 6th position. It's been very quiet throughout this race. Nice run for him. William Hewitt runs in 7th, Chris Essery 8th. Trevor Baxter still in this race on the lead lap, but he's now down to 9th with some front-end damage. And Thomas Freeman rounds out the top 10. Roland Collette still running near the front of this field. However, though, he's currently scored 12 laps down at the moment.
Hanging out. 12 laps down. Oh, and it gets sideways off of 4 and hits the wall pretty hard with the nose of that number 9 machine for Collette.
Roland, I'm sorry. Commentator's jinx.
That might do it for him tonight.
Commentator's jinx on our end. I know Rob likes to talk about it a lot, but that was on me. Duggar still with company, though, from both Danilo and Belk. Give credit to 2nd and 3rd for working with the man out in front, but we're just having a tough time getting past it. Oh, no! Danilo off of Belk. What a save from the 0 car. My, oh, my.
Man, Danilo with a massive save. Not sure if he got loose there and then Belk got into him. We'll get a look at the replay here in a second.
I think Belk just got a little bit too excited underneath there on the 0 and just hooked the quarter panel, and Danilo does not sound too happy on the radio. And the two are having some good words.
They're having a good time.
I think they're talking about when their birthdays are.
Gonna send each other cards for Christmas.
Yes. Kurdzielak and Bird, the race for 4th on your screen.
Bird, like you said, was lapped down at one point. Somehow has managed to find himself back here to the top 5.
A replay on what happened with Danilo. And you see it right there. I think just a little bit too excited on the gas, and up the hill went the 33.
Great save,
man,
too.
Great driving, great camera work. Our friends at Whiplash Sim Cams that Christian has providing you the pictures this evening.
Well, see what Danilo has to regroup and march back to the front.
Still watching Kurdzielak and Stephen Bird very closely. Bird started from the 6th position this evening. And this was a car that was the first to lap down before, I believe it was our last caution. That involved the 2 cautions prior. That involved Billy Brickley in the 69. He was one of the faster cars on the racetrack. Pitted on lap 150, so he's got 18 laps of fresher tires compared to the front 4. That could make or break a race, so he would have to expect his next stop probably somewhere around lap 225.
We talked about our drivers making those strategies. Like you said, Stephen Bird on that different strategy right now. We'll see how it plays out here in the longer part of this run. Long ways to go. A lot can happen.
Bird takes away the 4th spot. Let's keep an eye on 2nd, though, too, because at just one point a couple laps ago, Danny Carpenter all over Randy Belk for 2nd, stays about 2.5 car lengths between the two on board the 28.
Carpenter running in the 3rd position. We saw him earlier on marching through the field right now, all over the back bumper of Belk here. I was curious to see how Belk was going to do once he finally got up here towards the front in a more cleaner air situation, but right now Alan Duggar is the class of the field. Now that Mr. Trevor Baxter's had some trouble. Speaking of Trevor Baxter, though, he is running in the 9th position.
Yeah, Baxter's still stuck in 9th. Working on Chris Essery for 8th, but, you know, we know Baxter very fast car, but I think this just shows in this race, like we talked about earlier on, the dirty air. You don't want to be in this dirty air this evening.
Very hard to manage, especially with these very tricky exits. You've kind of already got to be out of the gas when you're coming off the exit to kind of keep the front tires planted on the unload and loads. And you get a car in front of you, the dirty air, it's got no front downforce on those tires, and it's just kind of like having skis.
Tell you what, even with the battles that Belk and Carpenter had a couple laps ago, Belk's been able to find some speed, pull away from Danny Carpenter, and now set his sights on Duggar for the race lead. Even lap times are the top two cars at the moment. 24.05 for Belk, 23.99 for Duggar. Last time.
04 for Carpenter and a 99 for Stephen Bird. So top four really all running kind of pretty close to the same lap times. And that's pretty impressive too, with all these drivers having open setups here tonight.
Duggar to Bird at the moment.
Bird fastest car on the track right now.
Yeah, they're all separated by 1 second, if I'm looking at that correctly.
You are looking at that correctly, and Stephen Bird in that striking range is going to maybe find a way around these cars, get to run a different line, and you can tell everybody's starting to move up towards the middle, so it's going to make those passes harder. If you've got a good car through the center on the bottom where you can really gas it up to get to their quarter panels, they can help you side draft them down the front straightaway and kind of do like a slide job in a two.
That slide line has worked at some points. Not all the drivers have really tried it out here yet tonight. Carpenter continues on Belk for P2. Reminder, if you're liking what you're seeing here on Maconi Entertainment, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications when we have an upcoming broadcast down the road. We got a couple, we'll let you know what they are after the race, including Door Cup Series action. Next week, the series heads to the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 400, 8 p.m. on Maconi Entertainment. That should be definitely a fun one to watch. Always one where, also like Dover, clean air definitely is your best friend, but it's also at the same time working pit stops and strategies, also things like that at the same time to try and get a win at Indy. Of course, we'll talk to a bunch of the drivers after your top three after the race. I'll get their thoughts on head to Indy. But I was very glad last year, Jeremy, to see the series return to the oval portion of Indianapolis. The road course was fun for a couple of years. Try something different to make the Brickyard 400 livelihood, but I feel like now that we're back on there, they've been back at the oval. It's found really its crown jewel once again, and I'm interested in seeing how it's going to happen for not just whoever wins this race, but also the in-season challenge matchup. Ty Gibbs, Ty Dillon for $1 million next Sunday. Who would have had that? Here goes Carpenter for second.
I was going to say, speaking of challenges, challenge on the track, no challenge for Danny Carpenter. Made that pass look easy, and Carpenter right there, Stephen Bird right in within striking range.
I'm not sure if we can bring up the last pit lap. Carpenter pitted on lap 144. Duggar and Belk each lap 132. They got to keep your eye closely on Stephen Bird, who pitted on lap 150. He went for 4 tires on his pit stop. We'll just have to see if that works. Fun fact, the Duggar and Carpenter stops, their last stops, their top two. On my end, I've got 49-second, 47-second stops, some extra stops by them, and they're currently 1-2 in this race.
Get some extra things taken care of. Finds himself in a really good spot. As a one driver, though, kind of struggling right now is Randy Belk.
Yeah, Belk right now has lost to second to the race leader, Alan Duggar, as Carpenter tries to go after him. How long will this battle with Stephen Bird last? I think Bird's got a better race car right now than the 33.
And the pace that Bird's got right now with those, somewhat fresher tires, I could see him maybe popping into second here, but I know pit stops are on the horizon for everybody at some point here in this final stage.
And looking at things here, I would expect Duggar and Belk maybe to come in at around lap 210. Remember, a 260 lap race. We're coming to 80 laps to go in just a moment. So 5-10 laps from now, the window will be open, but I'd probably say make it 7 or 8 because you got that one green white checkered attempt. You want to make sure you got some extra fuel for that just in case. So we'll have to see if maybe the undercut will play to someone's advantage or not. I'm not too sure. Or do you maybe divide it in half? We'll just have to see. We'll talk about the keys to pit strategy here in a couple laps time, but we're still watching Bird and Belk for the bottom step of the podium.
Bird's there. That's the easy part. Making the pass, that's the hard part. Just got to figure out a different line. Keep the clean air on that nose. It feels like almost every time they go into the turns, Bird is just right in the Belk's wake. So I'll have to see what he can do to make this pass happen because he is definitely faster.
Keeping an eye on some other battles on the track. Michael Kurtzielak, William Hewitt, good race for 6th. Both of them started in the back of the field. Hewitt involved in the last caution flag, or a couple yellows ago, I should say, that big wreck that took out Baxter and the 9 car of Roland Collette. That was really the big story in this race so far. Here, if you've just joined us on Maconi Entertainment, they were the top 2 drivers throughout the first 2 stages. But to begin stage 3, Collette won the race off pit road over Trevor Baxter. A couple laps later, Collette sideways overcorrects right in front of Baxter. Top 2 take each other out. Alan Duggar involved late in a stage 1 accident. Has made his way up through to take away the race lead. Just had to change for position, and it was Hewitt past Kurtzielak.
Battle still going on throughout the field as pit stops are on the horizon. This is where we're going to see it, see who really practiced any type of green flag stop, because this is a very tricky transition going from that concrete to asphalt. It can spin you out really easily if you're not straight and don't downshift while going over that.
The lap 1. So we're at 75 laps to go at the moment. Around lap 190 is when we would say the window will open this time. So we're still watching some other battles here on the racetrack. Let's talk the keys to pit strategy here at Dover. Here, Jeremy. First one thing I'm looking at here is that track position is everything. If you could beat your rivals or who you're racing for off a pit road, even by a car length, you might be able to hold them off for the next 80 laps. Like we're seeing Bird on fresher tires than Steve and then Randy Belk, for example, and he's having a tough time getting past him.
Like we just said, getting there is easy, getting around is going to be the next step in the process. Lap after lap, just in that wake, you can tell he's faster, just cannot get it coordinated enough to get that pass made. It's almost like you're going to back up the entry in one turn and overdrive the entry the next, and like we said, almost like a slider line.
Second thing I'm looking at, because it is a green flag pit stop, this is the point where you can't make any mistakes. A speeding penalty, you'll have to go down pit road once again for a drive-through, else get held up extra more. That could maybe cost you a lap in this race. Speeding penalty, overshooting your pit box at the same time as well. It can mean losing a lap at the same time. So one mistake on pit road basically will cost you position. With how fast Dover moves, it might just cost you the race and a good finish.
I tell you what, Marty, I'm starting to get a little anxious here. I know these pit stops are coming.
Now the big question is, when are they coming? We'll just have to see. Duggar and Belk came in at lap 132. If you add 75 to that, that puts them around lap 207. So we're about 17 laps away from seeing them come down pit road. So
slowly but surely clicking away these laps. Come around for lap 192 of 260. Duggar right now with a half a second lead. Carpenter right now running faster lap times.
Better by a tenth that last time by. Watching the race for 7 closely. It's Kurdzielak, Esther, and again, Trevor Baxter has not been able to find a way to get past the 4. That front end damage that's downforce really affecting the number 12 like Jeremy and I talked about earlier. Continuing on with our pit road talks here. With the going green light, you have to go with fresh tires every time. It will win every time. Long run speed is essential. If we do get that late race caution, you may see some different calls we'll talk about in a moment, but you have to go 4 tires and a full tank of fuel here, Jeremy.
Yep, easiest way to go about it, especially with the amount of fall off that we got. We're about a second of fall off each run, so definitely 4 tires are going to be the answer.
Now, what if you're a guy like maybe a Paul Danino or a William Hewitt or Michael Kurdzielak? Do you try and maybe time a caution flag? Do you try and wait and pit late? Because Dover races often have these long green flag runs, but when the caution flag comes, they can trap cars a lap down if they've just pitted. Because if you stay out longer in a pit cycle, it can sometimes benefit bid, which could create a lot of tension. That caution, if there's a caution that catches half the field mid-cycle, that could be a big swing for teams that don't pit yet.
Especially like we said, if you didn't practice pit road, there might be a caution because of somebody trying to come to pit road. And that could really shake things up in the field if somebody gets trapped a lap down.
The Duggar, meanwhile, has increased his lead up to nearly a full second on Danny Carpenter. Keeping an eye out on still Essery, Kurdzielak, and Baxter, all racing for 7th on your screen.
Big battles all around the field. We've got 10 cars on the lead lap, all within 15.5 seconds. Freeman, the last car, they're in 10th spot.
Here goes Baxter, meanwhile. Baxter trying to get a spot here badly. Has it past Kurdzielak. Baxter up to 8th.
It's definitely weird. I think this is the first broadcast for me I would see Trevor Baxter not in the lead with a race that he's in.
Yeah, but a tough break for Baxter again. But regardless of how he's performed in this race, you still have to give credit for the dominant season he's had. Jeremy, you've watched it a lot more than I have on the year. 10 wins, 15 at top 5s, in I believe it's 18 starts now so far on the season. He's led over 1,100 laps. Actually, if you include today, probably over 1,200 laps right now. It's just been such a darn good season for the driver, the number 12. He'll still be, regardless, the favorite to win the championship this year.
Yeah, even with this slight misfortune here tonight,
and I think we got pit stops.
Yep, looks like,
Essery and Kurdzielak.
They almost coming to pit road. I don't know if they were...
Final round of pit stops underway. They'll begin it here on lap 200 of 260. We'll watch this closely. Again, pit road speed 35 miles an hour. A long 35 miles an hour to add here, like Jeremy brought up before the race. With how fast you go here at Dover, one bad break or one late break could mess up your race. Tommy Osborne now in the pits. And same with Brian Burchett. What they're trying to do here is set up the undercut. See if they can gain some time with how far they were back. Essery beats out Kurdzielak. That moves Trevor Baxter now up into the 7th position. With under 60 laps of racing to go. Now the question is, who comes in next? When you look at the last pit laps here, Duggar 132, Carpenter 144, Belk 132, Bird 150, Danino 137, Hewitt, Baxter, and Freeman each 150. So Those that pitted on lap 150, we should expect them in about 20 laps time from now. We'll just have to see. And it sounds like we're hearing that Stephen Bird may be pitting in just a matter of moments. He's alerted Paul Donito he's pitting, and here comes the 26.
Let's see how he executes it. Great entrance right there. Let's see if he can not get a black flag. Bird, excuse me, one of those biggest movers this last stage, really getting himself in a good position with everybody else's misfortune. We'll have to see how this pit stop works out for him. We'll have to see if Alan Duggar and Danny Carpenter come here shortly.
They would be expected next. So Bird trying to match with the drivers on the leaders on the same tire strategy possibly. If not, try and get the undercut to pay off to the advantage. We'll just have to see. Good on the right side for Stephen Bird.
Duggar staying out still.
Nothing jammed on the 26. He's out in 15.3. Now the thing you got to be careful about now is on pit road exit and then in the opening laps. You know, the tire pressures are still down just a little bit. Tire temps aren't up. They're still cold. So you just got to take it nice and easy through the 26 degrees of banking.
Yes,
now the question
does it.
Now we'll just have to see who is next. Duggar still the leader by 3 seconds on Danny Carpenter. Biggest lead he has had in this race.
Still not pitting, so he is going to try and run this out long.
Should mention about Duggar, not yet in the top 16 in points. He does have, though, on the season I believe 2 wins this season, if I've got that correctly. Yeah, 2 wins on the year. And below on the cut line, he's about 60, 67 or so below the cut line. So a win would be huge for the number 15. Again, wins won't lock you into the playoffs. It's top 16 in points that will set the playoff grid going into Darlington in September. Trevor Baxter on pit road. He'll try and set up a small undercut. A great day for him. That went sour early in stage 3. And he's just trying to get the best finish he possibly can.
See what his strategy is here for Baxter. He ran a little extra on those laps.
Gary, we should expect Randy Belk in a moment.
Yes, looks like, so looking at Stephen Bird right now, 23.24s. So about a second faster than our leader, but he is 2 laps down.
Belk is on pit road. Some of these drivers on lap 150 just trying to match the pace of the leaders, and you know, with Duggar not coming in yet.
Yes,
and now he's coming in this time. Never mind. We'll see what Carpenter does. He stays out. Donito looks like he's coming in this time by. He's off the pace. Donito comes down pit road. Right now, quickest stop amongst the bunch. Baxter at a 12:17. Go check amongst the front of the field once the pit stop cycle through. Randy Belk is out. And Donito got a black flag, I should mention, on pit road. Longer stop at 41 seconds. Correction, that was his prior stop. He just made his way out of the pits, I believe. Speeding coming onto pit road. Duggar, meanwhile, is out. Best stop so far on the stint, 11.8.
Wow.
So they make that an 11.4.
Must have parked perfect in that stall.
That may be, if we go to the checkered flag, that may be what wins him the race. And he'll come out. He'll come out in front of Stephen Bird by a couple of seconds. Center of 3 and 4 is Duggar. Bird halfway down the backstretch.
Actually, I think a lap. Oh, no, I think they're on the same lap. Fine.
But now let's see. We'll have to see when Carpenter comes in. I'm surprised he's yet to come in, but I think he's going to try and get the freshest tires for late in the race, possibly.
About 44 4 laps to go.
Thomas Freeman on pit road. And again, you see the 54.8 on Danino. That's what happens when you speed on pit road. It's gone from bad to worse. Freeman on pit road. You'll see his time pop up on the right when he's done, but we're all watching Danny Carpenter, and when he pits, if he gets a yellow flag here, keep in mind, he would probably trap. The top 5 would probably be left on the lead lap, if I'm looking at this correctly.
Almost top 4 would be the only one on the top lap.
Because if you're looking at the drivers 2 laps down or more, they'd be trapped. The drivers a lap down, they would be able to get a wave around and be tail end on the lead lap. Paul Danino, though, quickest car on the racetrack, just nailed a 23.06 last time by. And this may be the lap here. Looking at the speed of Carpenter, he may be coming in, but he's losing time, though. A lot of track time where he may fall back out as second. And again, Carpenter stays out again. He pitted on lap 144. We expected him a lap ago on 219.
I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you here, Marty, I kind of like this strategy. You got to do something different, and if it worked out,
here we go.
A lot of people a lap down, but coming up pit road now is unfortunately it didn't work out. So, like you said, I'll probably lose a couple spots or time-wise by staying out so long.
So Duggar comes off turn 4 right now. He's expected to be the race leader, and a close call for the car behind him, who got really sideways off the 4.
The slow 35 miles an hour down pit road.
Duggar in turn 3.
For him, I think he's going to go...
Alan Duggar will take the race leader.
Yep.
Once William Hewitt pits, Indy number 11, he's banking on a yellow flag here. And unfortunately it won't come as he is coming in right now. So as of right now, the benefactor in that set of green flag pit stops has to be Stephen Bird. He comes out in second, but is 10.5 seconds behind Alan Duggar, and that's what happens when you have an 11.8 second pit stop. But Carpenter also a good stop though, 11.3, but he's 2.5 seconds behind on Stephen Bird, but with a lot of fresh rubber. I think as well, Jeremy, the biggest winner as well on pit stops too. Trevor Baxter in the 12. He jumped up a couple of spots with his 12-second stop. He's now through into the top 5 and 5th. So maybe, Jeremy, if we get a late race yellow, he could get back in this race.
Anything can happen, and we can steal one back here towards the end of this race. As he's had a little bit of misfortune here tonight, but still hanging on to a top 5.
So with everyone having pitted, let's once again take a look at a full field rundown here of how your favorite driver is running. Jeremy, give us the top 10.
All right, let's take a good look at our top 10 right now. Alan Duggar out front. 10.7 second lead and growing, out of 10.8 over Stephen Bird there in second place. Third place goes to Danny Carpenter. Randy Belk is 4th. Trevor Baxter, our most winningest driver here this season, 5th. Chris Esray is in 6th. Michael Kerslak is in 7th. 8th is our first lap down driver, is the number 11 of William Hewitt. 9th goes to Paul Danino with 2 laps down. And running in our top 10 is Brian Burchett, 2 laps down as well.
Tommy Osborne runs in 11th. You got Josh Switzer in 12th. Thomas Freeman stuck on pit road in 13th. Daniel Best 14th. James Nesta 15th. 16th is Ronald Judd. Rest of the drivers here are out of the race. Roland Collette 17th, Josh Sanchez in 18th, Billy Brickley 19th, Corey Atkins 20th.
And just outside the 20th spot there is Bradley Knopf-Snyder in 21st and number 87. He is still running. He is 105 laps down though. Michael Reeves, he is 128 laps down there in 22nd, and it just gets worse as we go on here. A lot of these drivers had misfortunes earlier on. Joshua Hyatt 23rd, Miguel Alvarez 24th, 25th goes to William Lark, 26th Brian Westerman, 27th Gabriel Burke, 28th Nate Pollard, and 29th goes to Thomas Hegland. A very stout number of cars here tonight, with just a few of them having quite the misfortunes earlier on.
Duggar's still the race leader by 9.7 seconds, but now the question we start to wonder here, so we're coming to 30 laps to go. Carpenter with 8 laps of fresher tires compared to Alan Duggar. Will he be able to cut the lead down? He cut a 10th down last time by, but it's going to be very tough though. It's going to take likely a late race yellow.
Yeah, right now he's at that 10th marker, and you might need a little bit more than a 10th a lap, and we know that here shortly on it may even out to the same lap times. So right there he was almost 2/10 faster, so almost got that gap down to 9 seconds. It's 9.3 right now. We'll check it here later on.
You know, something as well that we may want to bring up as well is, if we do have a late race yellow, expecting drivers to come down pit road, we have some drivers that have they've only had 4 stops. Alan Duggar, for example, Chris Essery, and Michael Kurdzielak. Same with Paul Danilo. They've saved a full set of tires from what we know of at least. But other drivers, that's in question. Danny Carpenter has made 5 stops today. Stephen Bird has made 5 stops. Randy Belk 5 stops. Trevor Baxter has made 6 stops on the day. And same goes as well for William Hewitt. So amongst the drivers on the lead lap, if you have a set of tires, I feel like you got to use it to your advantage if we do get that late race yellow. As they only get 5 sets.
Yeah, like you said, a couple drivers are hoping for a caution, and a couple drivers are praying not to have a caution here. And we're definitely winding down these laps. They are flying through under the final 30.
This race we're watching on track though, Randy Belk, Trevor Baxter for 4th position. That's the closest right now, that's under a second. Just had an update as well a minute ago. Only got reports of Josh Switzer having an accident. Double checking on my end what happened. Nope, Switzer was just really off the pace and pulling it on the pit road. Surprisingly, that did not bring out a yellow, as on the back straight there's not really an apron here at Dover Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it's definitely a tight and tricky pit road to get to, but I gotta say these drivers did an excellent job executing the green flag pit stops. I think we only had 1 driver with a pit road penalty.
Absolutely, give credit to the drivers here, figuring out pit road, a very tough pit road as well here at Dover, because that apron obviously slippery when you're trying to come down pit road and brake to 35 miles an hour. Plus, that pit road entry comes a lot earlier than other races, because pit road starts in turn 4. It doesn't start on the straightaway.
I didn't have Alan Duggar as my winner tonight, but I give him all the credit right now. If he can finish up these last 20 some odd laps, he's going to find himself in good company.
Yeah, behind him, that's actually a race for the 7th position, William Hewitt and Michael Kurdzielak. But yeah, Alan Duggar, here, if you want a race recap for him, stage number 1 ran well up near the front, and then in the final laps of the stage, we had a yellow flag for a restart accident, and he was a part of it. Had to go to the pits, get repaired, made his way through the field after a caution-free stage 2. stage 3, took advantage of a couple of wrecks, and now out in front ever since, and is just about 20 laps away from taking the checkered flag once again. And don't forget, next week for this series, they are at the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Should be a fun one. Don't want to miss it right here on Maconi Entertainment next Sunday night.
That's going to be a good one. Especially like what we've got going on here tonight. Great door-to-door action here with Door Racing League. If you like what you see here on TV and you want to be part of the action, check out Door Racing League on Discord. See how you can be a part of this action each and every week. I enjoy it. It's always fun to be a part of.
Yeah, this has been a fun series to call whenever I get the chance to get the call into the booth on Sunday nights, or even get the call in to produce on Sunday nights as well. So, but yeah, Indy should be a lot of fun to watch, and whoever comes out the winner, they definitely reserve it. It's been really as well such a grind for these drivers as well at the same time, because again, they follow the real-life NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Whatever is running that weekend, they will run on Sunday nights. So basically, they've only had one off break, and that was on Easter weekend. Everything else, they've been running, kind of like what we show on Saturday nights and Friday nights with full-length Cup Challenge.
That's another good league as well.
Absolutely.
Several good leagues right now out here on the Maconi Entertainment socials, and just great racing, great drivers, and I love the leagues that there's just give and take. You know, not everybody's out there. You know, they kind of know where they're going to finish. They're out there just trying to click laps away, and maybe sneak out an even better finish. And I know there's some drivers that came into this race tonight not expecting to be where they're at right now. I'm positive about that, and they are going to execute, hopefully, a decent finish after starting towards the back.
You're watching Michael Kurdzielak, and again, it's great to see him at least inside the top 10 and running up in the top 5 at some points after he was involved in the second caution of the day. Kurdzielak currently scored an 8th, about a lap down. Actually, still give credit, this race behind Duggar after Duggar left both the number 11 of Hewitt, who's got the freshest tires of everyone. He's been able to keep pace with Alan Duggar. He just passed Chris Essery for 6th, so Hewitt racking up some more points. And he came in 20th in series standings, so trying to make a late playoff push.
Speaking of late pushes, Randy Belk all over the back bumper of Stephen Bird. This is a battle for the podium position. About 2-3 car lengths back from Stephen Bird. Does Belk have it right here?
We're just about to go there next. Belk with 7 laps of fresher tires, and with 14 laps of race to go, 13 now. It's going to be very tough to hold off Belk. There he goes underneath. You saw Bird get a little sideways off of turn 4. 33 car up on the bottom step of the podium.
I believe there was some radio communication there, and I believe Bird did let Belk have the position to just make it easier on the both of them to not lose a lot of time. Like I said, I like the give and take in this league.
Something we should mention as well with Danny Carpenter in the 28, despite having 8 laps of fresher tires. The last lap times have kind of been starting to stall off a little bit. Gap is at 8.1 seconds between Duggar and Carpenter, and the lap times are just about even, 24-second laps. So after running 23 1s, 23 2s, the tires wear out really quickly on an abrasive surface like Dover.
It's crazy to think that concrete, even though it doesn't hold too much heat, it can be abrasive on tires, and some of these drivers that tried pitting earlier on are now facing the consequences of that. And at the later part of this run, their cars are starting to fall off, and about 2 tenths off there for Stephen Bird, but I believe he was one of those cars that pitted first there at the end of that run.
You know, I want to give you some trends at Dover that NASCAR brought out on Wednesday. The green flag stretch. I just had here Only 3 of the last 8 Dover races going into today had a final green flag stretch of less than 62 laps, and none of the last 8 Dover races ended in overtime. Alan Duggar, I believe he's led at least 68 laps. The winner in each of the last 8 races entering today had led at least 68 laps. So, and the driver leading the most laps won only 3 of the last 9 races. So I guess you could put Trevor Baxter on that list, running in 5th. So the Monster Mile can always be tricky at times, as we've got 8 laps, make it 7 laps to go for Alan Duggar.
Laps are winding down. I believe Baxter will end up being the lap leader here tonight. You know, Duggar has really pulled off quite a few laps here towards the end of this final stage. Speaking of laps, we have got 7 to go.
Lead continuing to stay constant for Duggar on Carpenter at 8.3. No really close battles on the track. Carpenter's been running well in 2nd. Same with Randy Belk after he was making some charges throughout the stages as well. Stephen Bird, I want to give a shout out to. He ran quiet throughout the first 2 stages. Then he really picked up the pace, avoiding a bunch of accidents. It's about to end the day with a solid 4th place effort. Bird, this is a driver, in fact, 3rd in standings and still looking for his first win of the year. He's the highest in points without a win, but still a 4th place finish with only 5 top 5s on the season coming in, Jeremy. He definitely deserves a good run like this.
Yes, doing a great job. We said he flipped the strategy, but on these older tires, doing a great job keeping himself in that top 5 position. He's got a 2.6 second gap to Baxter.
He fought the undercut, and unfortunately, looking for a podium finish, that seemed to be a total loss, but still a good gap though on Trevor Baxter, up 2.6 seconds. Baxter with 5 laps of fresher tires. I don't see Baxter being able to catch Stephen Bird with the way the paces are all on the racetrack. However, Baxter 3/10 slower than Bird last time out. So, but 2 laps to go at the line though for Alan Duggar, who started 5th in this race. He's running pretty well near the front.
Alan Duggar did a great job, managed to get through all of the chaos today. He's coming around turn 4 to see that white flag.
A mile remaining for Alan Duggar in the number 15 Senla Motorsport Nerve Gaming Toyota Camry, number 15. Got involved in a late accident in stage 1, had to go to the pits, but recovered through that. Had the no-quit mentality. Makes its way through 3 and 4. Alan Duggar has tamed Miles the Monster. Checkered flag waves of the air. Alan Duggar, your winner at Dover. It is Duggar's 3rd win of the 2025 season. He wins by 8.5 seconds on Danny Carpenter. And then you got to go nearly a half a lap for Randy Belk. He'll round out the podium in 3rd, followed by Stephen Bird in 4th, and Trevor Baxter rounding out the top 5. We'll catch our breaths. We'll talk to Alan Duggar and the rest of the top 3 and get your race results in just a moment on Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Alan Duggar has just burned it down here at the Monster Mile for his 3rd win of the 2025 Door Cup Series season. Take a look at the official results on your screen. Duggar the winner by 8.5 seconds on Danny Carpenter. Randy Belk finishing in 3rd, Stephen Bird 4th, Trevor Baxter rounds off the top 5. Those were the only drivers that finish on the lead lap. 6th was William Hewitt. Chris Essery finished in 7th. Michael Kurdzielek in 8th, a lap down. 2 laps down in 9th was Paul Danino, and Brian Burchett rounds off the top 10, 3 laps down.
11th goes to Tommy Osborne. 12th goes to Daniel Best. 13th goes to Thomas Freeman. 14th, Joshua Switzer. 15th goes to James Nesta. 16th spot goes to Ronald Judd. 17th goes to Roland Collette, one of those drivers that was up towards the front and had some issues during the race. 18th, Joshua Sanchez. 19th, Billy Brickley. 20th, Corey Adkins.
Rest of the field here, Bradley Knopf-Snyder 21st, Michael Reeves 22nd, Josh Hyatt 23rd, Miguel Alvarez 24th, William Lark 25th, Brian Wasserman 26th, Gabriel Burke 27th, Nate Pollard 28th, and Thomas Heglin is 29th. Mike's our race control. He likes to join as a driver. So we'll bring in the top 3 here, and we'll start things off with Alan Duggar, your race winner. Alan, 3rd win of the season. Congratulations. Did you think that at first off, when you were involved in that accident in stage 1, at the end of stage 1, did you think that was it for you?
Yeah. Honestly, I did, because I didn't know the toe was knocked out of it, so I was afraid my night would be over with.
What did you feel really was the turning point in this race? It seemed like for us, from our perspective, was when we saw Baxter and Collette get together.
Yeah, I think that really was the turning point for me. Both of them guys are fast. Both of them are a little more patient than I am on saving tires. So that first run, right at the start, I just blew my tires off just trying to get around them. But
For
I
you,
ended up riding.
for you though, as a whole, what did you feel that made your car really good tonight?
After I got my damage fixed, I made some adjustments, loosened it up just a tad. I was still tight. I didn't loosen up near enough, but I really started rotating, just trying to save as much as I could until somebody could come run me down, basically. But other than that, I just kept running my pace, and nobody really could run me down.
But next week we head to Indy. How do you feel going in?
I feel pretty good. I think Indy's a good track for me.
Who do I give shout outs to before we let you go?
I'd like to thank Ken Byron at Ryco, Nerve Gaming, Salon Motorsport, Door to Door for letting us come out here and have a little fun. You guys put on a great broadcast. I'd like to thank y'all, and that's it.
Ready. Alan, congratulations. Third win of the season, trying to get closer and closer to a playoff spot. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Alan Duggar, third win of 2025. Let's head to the runner-up finisher. Danny Carpenter is with Jeremy.
Yes, we got the number 28 finishing in second place here of Danny Carpenter. Came back, started fourth position, led 11 laps tonight, came home with 0 incidents on your list too. Man, it was a clean race for you on that end. Walk us through your night.
The first stage, I just tried to take care of the car. And like pretty much the second stage, and then like the third stage, I think it was the second stage, I got like caught up in Trevor's wreck, and then I had to fix some damage and stuff. And then like the third stage, I tried to run him down and I just couldn't do it. Like the car was too tight, and I just don't know enough about the car to loosen it up.
Sounds like you were just one adjustment away from making the right move.
Well,
8.5.
I think I was more than one, but tried.
Well, that's great to hear. Like you said, you got to maybe find some experience and maybe figure out what to do for your cars, is what you're saying, and
Yeah.
hopefully you can find that here with all these races that we do get every week. So you finished second tonight, though. What are your thoughts on going to the Brickyard next week?
I think it's going to be a hard week for me. It's a very hard track. I'm not very good at flat tracks, so I'm going to have to put in some practice if I want to do well. I've had a bad like 3 or 4 weeks. Like the past 3, 4 weeks have been horrible for me. I really haven't been racing that much. So it's going to be a challenge for me because it's a tricky track. So I'm just going to have to try to stay out of trouble and just get the best like finish I can, which is like kind of what like was my goal tonight, was just to get 3 like top 10s, and just drive a little more smart,
Absolutely. Well, you bring it home second place here tonight. Who do you got to thank for getting you here tonight?
Shout out to Door to Door, shout out to the SBR guys, and that's it.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, Danny Carpenter, finishing second here tonight. Hopefully we'll speak to you in the near future.
All right. Thank you.
So Carpenter goes runner-up here tonight, and apologies, I don't believe we will be able to speak with Randy Belk, but with that being said, that will do it. So, Jeremy, final thoughts as we get set to turn things over here to Indianapolis next week.
Well, another great race here with Door to Door Racing League. Man, Dover, I thought 29 cars, it was going to be a caution fest. Yes, we had a couple cautions, but you'll have that even in real life racing. And these drivers did an awesome job in that final stage, having so much green flag racing and executing those green flag pit stops. Like you said, next week we're going to the Brickyard, a very tricky flat track. Excited for that. That is going to be another great race here with Door to Door Racing League.
Well, besides that, we got a lot more as well coming up on Maconi Entertainment. Tomorrow, we've got Formula Ford 1600s with a Monday Strength of Field race at Road Atlanta at 3:45 p.m. 7:45 on Tuesday, we got the Racers Elite Truck Series from Fontana. Friday night, we got a pair of broadcasts for you. Fast Fridays Trucks at Dover at 7 o'clock, brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop. And then FLCC Friday Night Lights at Indianapolis at 8:30. Saturday night at 8:30, the Full Length Cup Challenge with the Brickyard 400 at 8:30. And then again, like I mentioned, Sunday we're back here for the Door to Door Cup Series at Indy at 8 p.m. Again, if you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. In the meantime, that will do it for us. Shout out to Christian Hill, our producer in Mission Control this evening. On behalf of Jeremy Briggs, my name is Mari Sakala. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment and the Door to Door Racing League. Congratulations to Alan Duggar, your winner at the Monster Mile. So long.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.